wins 2 years ago. Here's Tomo, final race, Wolverhampton Race 7.
11 runners, they're off over 7 furlongs. 1 or 2 a little bit sluggish towards the outside. Oh, it's a false hang on, the flag is waving. It's a false start. It's a false start to our last race. The flag is being waved, and yeah, it is a false start. So they've got to come round. There is the starter. He was waving his flag. He wasn't happy. So we have a false start here. And the horses trying to, 1 or 2 trying to pull up. The others are going around, 1 or 2 pulling quite hard. So I think they're going to have light blue colours, and Mudlahim's taking quite a hold. The green colours are Kimmy 5. 1 or 2 have pulled up. The rest are going to go round the track. So as you can see, the jockeys got no chance of stopping these. Gimme 5 in the green and Mudlahim in the light blue. And also Raven Glass there. Jockeys trying to slow them down a little bit. And Gimme 5 is running quite fast. So we have a false start here. So let's see what happens on our last race tonight.
Well, it is, I'm afraid it's a bit of a shambles, isn't it? That is Kimmy 5, who thinks he's won the race. Mia Nichols, the rider of this one, doing her absolute best to pull him up. The problem is Kimmy 5 at one time, he was a decent, high-quality sprint handicapper. And Mudlahim was the other one who's completed the track at a reasonable gallop. The problem is Kimmy 5, although he's lost his form in races, is clearly thinks he's back in the day when he was running in big 6 furlong handicaps at places like Ascot and Goodwood, because he absolutely bombed home there. Unfortunately, it's not a race. It's a false start at Wolverhampton. You see the others coming in at long intervals. Now, the fact is that all these horses, and just about all the horses, appear to have completed the course, which creates a problem. There's one who hasn't completed the course. This creates a real problem here because having completed the course, we have to wait and see whether they will be allowed to restart the race. Now, this one hasn't completed the course. This is Oriental Spirit, and I think it may be the only one. Now, if that's the case, and the others are not allowed to take part and they run the race again, but not including the ones who have completed the track, then there will be only one horse in the race, so far as I can see, and that is Oriental Spirit. There's the jockey Dougie Costello on board. Now, if I were him, I wouldn't actually go past the winning post. I wouldn't go over the line. Ah, there's Kimmy 5. He's still going. He's done 2 circuits of the track. You have to say, Kimmy 5. He's a massive outsider today, and in races he's clearly nowhere near as good as he used to be, but you do wonder if he had run in the race tonight, whether he might have won. Now, this here, Oriental Spirit, say, if I were Dougie Costello, I would not cross the line here, because he may be the only one who hasn't completed the course, and if that's the case and they do run it again, he may be the only one that's allowed to take part in the rerun, which of course would be utterly ridiculous, because you'd only have one runner in the race. However, if he crosses the line now, he may well be deemed to have completed the track, and then he wouldn't be allowed to take part in the rerun either. Whatever happens, we are waiting now for a judgment on the stewards as to whether or not we can rerun the race, or whether that's it. The race will just be void, just will not have taken place, in which case, of course, all money would be refunded. So, Oriental Spirit coming in here. Now, is he going to cross the line? If he does, he might be deemed to have completed a circuit of the race. Well, whatever happens here now, there will be a delay, because what will happen is the stewards have to go into their room, the stewards who oversee every race meeting in Britain. There's a group of 3 or 4 of them. They have to sit around a table now, assess what went wrong there, why it happened, and what they can do about it. Will they just decide that the race is void, it can't take place, everybody gets their money back? Those are the officials at the start. Now, what happened at the start there? Did the starter maybe think that one of the horses had burst its way out of the stalls? Or in which case it would have got an unfair advantage and the starter would have said, no, it's not a race. I can't let them go like that if one of the horses has got an unfair advantage at the start. In which case the starter had no option but to wave the flag and try to call them back. Now the problem is when you've got fairly speedy horses, I know it's a low grade race, but they're still half a ton of horse and they're still quite quick and powerful. Asking a jockey who weighs 8 stone to try and pull up half a ton of horse is asking a lot. Now, we have got those two at the start. A Pint of Bear is the one in the stripes on the right, and the other one is Rose Fandango, blue and white check. These two are at the start. A lot of the others, as you saw, have gone back to the parade ring, I imagine. They've gone through the tunnel underneath the stand back to where they came from, and eventually leads back to the saddling boxes and the horse boxes that will take them home tonight. But these two jockeys here, Rose Fandango, Rossa Ryan on the left, and on the right, Phil Dennis on A Pint of Bear, are now awaiting a ruling. Now, only the stewards can give that ruling, and I'm sure they're getting unofficial comment from the starter and the assistants, but I imagine that the starter will have to go into the steward's room to explain what happened and then hear what is going to happen next. I don't think the starter can stay at the starting stalls. I think being the official responsible for opening the stalls, the starter will have to go into the inquiry which is about to take place. The guys on the left are the stalls handlers, who are the ones who put the horses into the stalls. Now, meanwhile, these two horses appear to be the only two at the start. We also had Oriental Spirit, who saw walking, I think he walked over the line with Dougie Costello. And although he didn't complete the track at the same rate as some of the others, they were absolutely bombing round, some of them, especially Kimmy 5. It remains to be seen what happens to these two here and potentially Oriental Spirit. Now, what's happening here? I mean, one possibility, I don't know whether these horses completed the circuit of the track and they got round to the start again, or what happened to them. But is it possible these might be the only two who take part in a rerun? Because if they have not completed the course, these two, and everything else has, these are the only two, my understanding, that will be allowed to take part in the rerun. If indeed there is one. But it's going to take, surely it'd take the stewards a few minutes to actually sit in judgment on this and before they feed back what happens here.